Should we stop calling them Nazis and start calling them Confederates? Think about that while you watch this.
ICE isn't just like the Gestapo. They're closer to slave catchers. And once that clicks, a lot of people get real uncomfortable real fast.
I've seen a growing number of people online saying that calling this regime Nazis and comparing them to Nazi entities like the Gestapo is less accurate than calling them Confederates and comparing them to Confederate entities like slave patrols. And I feel called to lovingly weigh in here, both as a Black and Jewish woman who lives squarely at the intersection of these histories and as someone with a master's degree in Black studies. Most people don't know that Nazis modeled the 1935 Nuremberg laws on the US's brutality against Black people. For example, in the US, we had anti-miscegenation laws, which prohibited interracial relationships. In Germany, marriages and sexual relationships between Jewish and Aryan people were illegal. In the US, Jim Crow laws legalized segregation. In Germany, Jews were segregated in ghettos. And there's so much additional nuance we could dive into here. Even this obsession with purity, right? This idea of pure Aryan blood, this idea of the one drop rule in the United States. If you have one drop of Black blood, then you're Black. This idea even of blood quantum and how that's been deployed against indigenous communities. But please don't misunderstand me. What I'm not saying is that as Black and Jewish people, our experiences of subjugation are exactly the same. I think it's actually really harmful when people collapse our experiences in that way. What I am saying is that fascism has a blueprint. And across time and space, both domestically and abroad, fascists learn how to be more evil by studying one another. Just like we study liberation movements to figure out how we get free, they have their own twisted version of that. So I appreciate what Sister Ashley is doing here because to her later point, comparing ICE to the Gestapo and not to slave patrols implies that something that evil could never be homegrown. And if I learn nothing else, get my master's degree in Black studies, it's that when we talk about Jim Crow, Reconstruction, chattel slavery, and the brutality our ancestors endured, we get such a sanitized version. And increasingly so, with the Prager universities of the world putting nonsense like this out. So Black folks in this country acutely understand that what we are bearing witness to is not a deviation from historical precedents, it's a continuation of it. That being said, this feels like a clear both-and situation to me. There's some distinctly Nazi shit going on right now, and there's also some distinctly Confederate shit going on right now. And when we begin to understand that there is a methodology to fascism, it makes sense that there are so many different kinds of parallels that we can and should be drawing.